Alright, time for a little change of scenery. Today I'm going to show off some of the Batman figures that I've acquired over the years, or Batman related figures I guess you could say, since they're not all just going to be Batman. But here we got the heroes set up, and I'm going to skip over the Movie Masters ones too, just because I don't really know where all of mine went. I know I got them somewhere. So I'll start right up here in front. This is the Detective Batman from DC Universe Classics Wave 1. This was actually the first DC UC figure I bought, and it's pretty much led to most of what you see here. I really like this one. This is probably still my favorite one, tied with this one, which is the DC Superheroes Batman from, I want to say it was like Wave 8. This was before the Universe Classics line, and they were doing different things with the sculpt and stuff at that point. Like you can see probably the details and the stitching on the gloves and the folds in the costume and all that kind of stuff. This line, I think overall, was a more solid line than DC UC, but DC UC has blown it away since then in terms of just like the selection of the characters and all the different stuff you get. So, yeah, these two are probably my favorites for like go-tos for like a comic book version of Batman. Behind him is basically the same figure as him, except in blue and gray. And he's got a little bit of different detailing on the belt and stuff like that. He actually came in a 2-pack with this Batgirl over here. And they've since used this Batgirl pretty much in black and yellow and black and blue, I think. Like, they've given her all different costumes. There was a, what's her name? Cassandra Cain Batgirl, too, with the black, where, like, the whole mask, like, was all in front of her face like that, because that's how that Batgirl costume was. But I never did get that one, and she goes for a lot of money now, so I'm probably not going to anytime soon. Up here in front is the black costume Batman from Wave 10, I think, of DC UC. And every time I look at this guy, I think back to, like, the Kenner toys from, like, the Michael Keaton movie that I used to, like, have as a kid. And I don't know. I don't know if this has ever been in a comic book costume, but this one is definitely, like, one of my favorite ones just to throw back nostalgia. And then here I got a Bruce Wayne figure that I'm working on. It's from this announcer guy on the WWE. I can't think of his name right now. But I basically bought it because I like the suit body, and I like how it's bulkier than the DC UC suit bodies usually are. They're like too thin. That's good for like a guy like Riddler or something, but Bruce Wayne, you have to believe that he can go from that to, you know, being a big jack dude in a Batman costume. So I think this body type works out pretty well for that. And the head is it's actually a cast that I got from, I forget which one. I think it's the Secret Origins series or Secret Files or something. I don't remember. But you had to paint it yourself, which is why it kind of doesn't look great. So I got to work on that. Back here, this is a Batman from the 2-pack with Azrael. But I took off the logo because it had that scratch across the front of it when there was like blood and stuff. And I wanted to make him a cloth cape and give him a cleaned up logo to kind of make like a 90s, early 90s Batman figure. Just haven't done it yet. This is the one that came with Clayface, so he's all covered in, like, the clay, I guess. That's the Azrael Batman I was just talking about, the red. They made the blue version, too, but I never did get that figure. And he's pretty expensive now as it is. It seems like most of these DC figures just get more expensive as time goes. They don't really kind of stay static. But I like the look of the red one. Here's the Dark Knight Returns Batman, the Mattel version. Came out last year. Really good figure. This is the DC Direct version that I've had since like 2004. I still really like this figure. Like the sculpt on it is real good, but the obviously the articulation is going to be lacking compared with like the newer figures and stuff too. But just like the details on the costume, like all the wrinkles and everything else, I still think that that's a real good figure. But this one probably gets the edge on it at this point. To the back, we got the Arkham City Batman from the 2-pack with Catwoman. I don't really have much to say about this one. I thought it was cool at the time, and I've since kind of changed my mind. There's Terry McGinnis. I had the other Batman Beyond also, but his leg broke off, and I don't know what happened to it. I would have liked to have kept the head so I could do some kind of, like, modification to the head and, like, swap out so he could have the mask on, or just the unmasked version. But I don't know whatever happened to it. I dropped the ball is what happened. This is some older DC Direct stuff, and there those go. This guy here was, it was originally the Hush Batman, the Jim Lee story, but they did a repaint, and that's what this one is. This was the Justice, the Alex Ross Batman, a repaint. All of these 4, I think, were repaints. They were all in a box set. I think it was called Batman Through the Ages. So you got the Justice version, kind of like a 1950s version, like a Hanna-Barbera Super Friends deal, and then like the first appearance one. And Mattel has made a first appearance Batman of their own too by now. Like, so, you know, if you prefer the DC Universe style figures. And this one is from the New Frontier movie. It's kind of got a more animated style if you look at it. But if you watch the movie, then it matches up perfectly. And this guy is, I don't know if you can even see him. I forget the name of the company, but there was a couple of these. Like, he doesn't really move at all. His arm swaps out, and he's got a cape that kind of extends over this way. But other than that, he just comes with this pretty sweet base, I gotta say. And that's about it. Here we have the Mafex Dark Knight Rises. I've used this in a little bit of animation that you've seen on the channel before, so he's obviously been out of the package and, you know, messed around with. I dig it, though. Probably my favorite overall Batman figure, maybe tied with this one, the Arkham Origins DC Collectibles one, formerly DC Direct. This guy, I don't know, I just can't say enough good things about this one. He's really good. Moving on to some Ally figures. I already showed off Batgirl. There's Nightwing. He actually goes for some money now, as I'm finding out. All these guys do. Tim Drake Robin, and a more, not really modern, but a more recent version of Tim Drake Robin. Originally he had the red and green, and then he wore it in like all red and black costume for a while before Damian Wayne became Robin. Then just some Justice League kind of deal. I got the John Stewart Green Lantern. He's a DC Direct figure. He doesn't pose as well as the DC Universe figures, but he's got really nice paint, and the sculpt is good, and I don't know. I just like the John Stewart version of the Green Lantern. Reminds me of the Justice League cartoon, so I dig it. Here's Hal Jordan from the 5-pack, I believe. I don't remember exactly because I bought him loose. This is Superman from a 2-pack with Clark Kent. I've since sold the Clark Kent, but this Superman figure is still, like, the head sculpt is really nice. The only thing is, like, the legs are so widely posed like that, you're not going to get him to do any kind of, like, dynamic leg stances, really, or anything. That's pretty much what you're going to get. But the head sculpt is really nice. And then I got Martian Manhunter, but I got the version with, like, the alien head and, like, this giant axe hand. So, I don't know, I'm going to try and see if I can pull a hand off another figure and match the green, just so I don't have to constantly be walking around with a battle axe like that. All right, but that's the good guys, and what's left of them. So we move into the villains now. All right, getting into the villains. We got the Joker here, front and center, Wave 10 DC Universe. Really enjoying it. This is the Harley Quinn from the Mad Love 2-pack, so that's why she doesn't have like that blue wash on her face. But yeah, I really dig that figure actually. This one's much better than that one. The Arkham City Joker, where he's all like not slick, where he's all sick and like diseased and everything else. It's a really, I'm not thrilled with the head sculpt on it, but the paint on the actual figure itself is real nice. Coming over here, we got Two-Face. There was also a DC Superheroes version where he's in the black and white costume. This was the 5-pack, I think, the Gotham City 5-pack. And I dig it. I kind of like this one. We never did get a Scarecrow in DC Universe Classics except for this version, the Yellow Lantern. There was a DC Superhero Scarecrow that I missed out on, but, you know, I missed it, so what can I tell you? I like this one. It's pretty good. And speaking of missed out figures, this is the Riddler from Wave 5. There was also another one in a later wave, I think 16, but I missed that whole wave. I just didn't see any of them anywhere. And that was the classic Riddler too, with like the green jumpsuit with the question marks all over like his chest, that had the big one and everything. But that one I actually prefer to this one, but this one's not bad by any means. I just like the style of the other one better. Pretty cool though. Then we got Deadshot. This is, I actually really like this figure a lot. Been one of my favorite DC Universe figures for a while now. And Deathstroke over here, a recent acquisition of mine. I've been after this figure for a while. And I gave him a Punisher machine gun from Marvel Legends because it fits in his hand better than that giant bulky one he had. But yeah, that's a real good figure. A fast favorite for me, easy. Coming over here, we got Clayface. This is the one that came in the 2-pack with that Batman that was covered in mud. This was also a re-release from the DC Superheroes version. Got Etrigan, who I could have just as easily put in the Good Guys collection too, but Batman and him have been frenemies, I guess, for all these years. But Etrigan and the Penguin are both from Wave 1 of DC Universe Classics, and my speculation on that is these were leftover like figures from DC Superheroes, because the superheroes line at the time was all about like more like individual detail on the figures, whereas DC Universe Classics kind of streamlined everything, and there were more, I don't know, it seemed like the entire line was more cohesive. But these guys seem like they're from, you know, a bygone era where it's like a more detailed version of a character. I don't know, that's just my speculation. This is Mongol from the DC Superheroes line. I got this guy loose at a store a while back, and glad I did, he's cool. Then you got Darkseid from the DC Superheroes. This is not the Build-A-Figure. This is just the single release. Or it was from a 2-pack or something. I can't remember exactly. But he's been drinking ever since I got him, so he couldn't tell you any different. This is Bane, DC Superheroes. I have his teddy bear, too. It's over on the floor. But he's got that wide stance. Same as Superman. You can't do anything with him beyond that. He's a really nice sculpt from, like, everything you see in the frame right now. It's really awesome. But then you get down here, and it's just like, what am I going to do with that? But I got the Nightfall Bane too, the DC Direct one. And again, there's not much posability, but it's just such a nice sculpt, and it's just massive. Like, it's a really cool looking figure, and it looks just like the 90s artwork from the Nightfall story. So yeah, I really like that one a lot. This is the Arkham City Catwoman. It's the only Catwoman I have. I kind of wanted, there was a black one from DC Superheroes, and then there was a repainted purple one from the 5-pack. But never got either of those. Wound up getting this one instead. It's not terrible, but it's just not the Catwoman I want, you know? Whatever. This is the Mr. Freeze from Batman Legacy, I think it is. There's like 3 or 4 different versions of this figure. I think this is the one with the most articulation, but it's also the one with like the lamest color scheme. I mean, I don't mind it, but the other ones look a lot slicker with the gray and the black and blue, I think one of them had. But not a bad figure, just the colors are kind of, yeah, whatever. And then lastly, we get Killer Croc. This was the first villain I think they made in the Mattel line, him and the Joker. But this is from when it was just the Batman line. It wasn't like DC Classics or any of those that were out yet. This is probably like my least favorite character design for Croc with the big long tail and everything else. I don't know. It's just, I never bothered to get another version of Croc, but I'm starting to think that's probably going to happen one of these days. But yeah, overall, that's the whole collection. All the Batman characters, the DC, all that stuff. Some really good stuff in there, some decent stuff in there, some not so great stuff. But I'm a huge Batman fan. Most of you people already know that if you're watching my videos, so that's just what it's going to be. Alright, till next time, it's been the Captain. Peace.